Hello, good beans, and welcome back to Midnight Requiem. Today we'll be talking about Coco Chanel. She was born August 19, 1883 in Saumur, France. The fashion designer's childhood was far from a fairy tale. Chanel was born to Eugene Jean Devaux, a laundress, in the charity hospital run by the Sisters of Providence, and Albert Chanel, a peddler. Chanel was only 12 years old when her mother died from a combination of factors including tuberculosis, poverty, pregnancy, and pneumonia. According to reports from the Telegraph UK, after her mother's passing, Chanel's father abandoned her and her two sisters, dropping them off at a convenient-run orphanage where they were raised by nuns. Like many of the greats, Coco Chanel started from the bottom as a seamstress by day and a club singer by night in the Moulins, a commune in France. Coco Chanel was born Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel. She acquired the nickname Coco during her brief stint as a carpet singer. One theory is that Chanel was dubbed Coco after the song she sang, Cocorico, and Qui Coco dans Trocadero. But according to an article published in The Atlantic, Chanel claimed Coco was short for coquette, the French word for kept woman. Either way, it stuck. Chanel opened her very first shop in 1910. The brick and mortar was located on Rue Cabin Street in Paris, where the designer kickstarted her namesake brand selling hats. You can thank Coco Chanel for the little black dress hanging in your closet, even if the tag doesn't don the label signature double C. The fashion icon introduced the now classic wardrobe staple early on in the 1920s, and it proved to be as revolutionary as the times. Chanel is also known for two-piece suits. The collarless tweed jacket and well-fitted skirt set gives women desirable tailored fit but doesn't feel stiff on. She grew up in a time when women were expected to wear confining pieces, but she had another vision. Chanel's goal was to design classy garments that were as fashionable as they were comfortable, drawing inspiration from menswear and practical necessity. In 1921, Chanel released her first perfume with the help of perfumer Ernest Bloch. The name came from the fact that it was the fifth sample out of 10 created. Coco Chanel's connection to lions. Lions are a symbol that is associated with the brand and included in collections. This is because Coco Chanel was inspired by the city of Venice, known as the City of the Lion, and was also a Leo. Coco Chanel never married, but she did have suitors, and they played a significant role in her success. She was first linked to French textile heir, a racehorse owner, Antoine Bazin, who helped Chanel become a millionaire, someone who sells hats, as her first real solo endeavor. However, it was Arthur Boy Capil, a wealthy polo player, who helped Chanel set up shop in Rue Cabin, and eventually a boutique in Deauville. Capel is believed to be Chanel's one true love, not to mention quite the significant muse. After Capel died in a car accident in 1919, Chanel viewed men as a means to an end. She chose lovers based on their status and wealth in order to sustain her independence. Coco Chanel was a number of things: wealthy, successful, controversial, but what made her influential was her rebellious yet highly fashionable designs. Chanel approached fashion in a way that designers weren't at the time. She made clothes trendy, beautiful, and comfortable. She took mournful black and made it a chic. She took menswear and applied it to women's wear. She defied limitations and encouraged women to do the same in fashion and beyond. Coco Chanel lived her life as she alone intended. The trials of childhood as an orphan and success of an accomplished businesswoman gave birth to an extraordinary character, daring, free, and ahead of her time. Faithful friendships and passionate love affairs, as well as her thirst for culture, discovery, and travel helped shape her personality. A wardrobe free from constraints and superfluity, tweaked with masculine accents, create a visionary allure that has become timeless and yet widely modern. pearls and diamonds casually paired with iconic perfumes have created a signature style, that of avant-garde women, a pioneer whose lifestyle and multiple faces forged the values of the house she founded and who remains an inspiration for all women. Coco, in words, liberated. We see her again in 1930 wearing trousers and a sailor shirt with her short hair blowing in the wind. For quite some time, she had done nothing like anyone else. For quite some time, she had discovered the happiness of letting her skin darken under the sun's cares, while spending time in 1920 on Lido's beaches in Venice in the company of Misa Sert. A life lived in the open air, punctuated by the discovery of sport and leisure, which she indulged in with pleasure: golf, skiing, yachting, fishing, etc., and of course horseback riding, a passion that began with Etienne Basson in 1906, which continued with the boy Capel, distinguished polo player, and the Duke of Westminster, activities that inspired her to create a wardrobe that was not yet called sportswear, but which laid a foundation that was more current than ever. She said, "I invented the sports dress for myself, not because other women played sports, but because I did. I didn't go out because I needed to design dresses. I designed dresses precisely because I went out, because I lived for myself the life of the century." Instinctive. Her first hat boutique, which she opened in 1910, which drew in the entire city of Paris, was the cornerstone of her legacy. 2 years later, with her instinct, sensing the rise of seaside resort towns, she set up a second boutique in Deauville. It was then in Biarritz, another city that would soon become a vogue, that she opened her couture house in 1915. Chanel took over 31 Rue Cambon in 1918. She then created N Degrees 5 in 1921, the first perfume by the dressmaker, which overturned the codes of perfumery of the era with its trail and refined bottle. In 1937, she herself posed to create an advertisement, an innovation, and an act of boldness again. And then there was the fine jewelry collection, Beaujacques de Damots, in 1932, which stirred up and sparked scandal in the subdued world of fine jewelry, and showed once more how she rendered everything that she had been done previously out of fashion, and how she was a formidable businesswoman, the first of her kind to build an independent and international company whose keen instinct has never failed her. Visionary. Jersey, the sailor shirt, the tweed suit and jacket knit, twin sets, the little black dress, the two-tone pump, the shoulder bag in quilled leather, pearl necklace. Chanel invented an allure and created a grammar of style, an internal reference in this contemporary wardrobe. Her vision of a simple wardrobe with understated, refined lines, and most importantly, which was not restrict women's movements and would suit their daily lives, was followed by other innovations. The first dressmaker to create a perfume in 1921, she had the instinct that she would help her conquer the world. She stated, "Perfume is luxury." For her fine jewelry, she did not hesitate to once again stir away the superfluous to lie in rigid settlings and invent ways of wearing it in the hair. Taking away the sacred nature of the most precious jewels was again a vision with surprisingly modernity. Chanel was also innovative in her way of speaking to women when she agreed to work in Hollywood and dress American actresses in 1931. It was because she understood, as she said herself, it is through cinema that fashion can be imposed today. Free. I am the only volcanic crater in the reverie that is not extinct, Chanel playfully said. One of the hallmarks of the designer's fiery temperament was never to be confined by anyone, let alone by men. This is one of the paradoxes of this great lover, independent in her personal life. Chanel was just as much so in her business life. Although she was financially supported by Boy Capel in the beginning, who helped her open her Parisian hat shop in 1910, as well as the Vol in Boutique in 1912, Coco made a point of paying him back every cent, a question of principle as well as almost a survival instinct to not depend on anyone. ever and to remain free at all costs. Impelled by this very desire for freedom, she became the owner of the Belle Respiro Villa in Graches, near Paris, and had the La Passa Villa built in Roquebrune, Cap Martin on the Riviera, and of course 31 Rue Cambon in Paris, where she set up her apartments to be free and independent, was one of the finest examples she set for women. Patron. It was the artist who taught me rigor, a patron muse and sometimes a real pygmalion, a costume designer for theater, ballet, and cinema, an avid reader and passionate about work and Brazilian art, Slavic culture. Chanel built deep friendship with many artists. Misa Sert, her closest friend, introduced her to this world of constant creativity. Together, their paths crossed with those of Delvicotze. Chanel would financially support Degas' ballet Russes and would design the costumes for his ballet, Le Train Bleu, the Blue Train, for Cotillo, who considered her to be the greatest dressmaker of her era. She designed costumes for his plays Antigone, Ophelia, and Seduf Roy. She invented Stravinsky to her Belle Respiro Villa and supported his musical works. As for Salvador Dali, Chanel lent him her La Passa Villa for more than 6 months in 1938 so that he could work on an exhibition of paintings that he was showcasing in New York the following year. Dancer Serge Lefort, Joachim Lipchitz, and Picasso were also among her close friends, as were poets Pierre Riverdry and Max Jacob, as well as a writer Paul Morin, who devoted a book to her, The Allure of Chanel, and was loosely inspired by the relationship she had with Boyd Capel in writing his novels Louise and Irene. She, by some sort of miracle, operated in fashion by following rules that seemed only to apply to painters, musicians, poets. She imposed the invisible, she imposed the nobility of silence, of the furor of high society. Reader. Books have been my best friend, Chanel confided to Paul Morin one day. They never felt her, starting with her reading of psalms as Aubin Abbey at Rue Cambon. In her apartment, shelves bend under the weight of books. One of them lays open near a pair of glasses lying on her beige suede sofa. On her quilted pillows, Gabriella reads everything. Sophistical Homers, Florich, and Virgil are displayed next to rebellious Dante, Shakespeare, Ed Montaigne, and many other books. Lover of the arts. To learn, to discover, to nurture both her soul and her creativity through the arts. This was a motto that Chanel lived by her entire life. Passionate about painting, sculpture, architecture, and history, Chanel fell in love with Slavic culture and charm in the company of the Grand Duke Dmitry Blavich. From then on, Russian-style blouses, pelisse, multicolored cabochons, and Byzantine crosses adorned her collections. Accompanied by Jose Maria Sert, the husband of her friend Misia, she traveled through Rome and Venice, finding herself in awe of the beauty of the churches and the magnificence of brick art, the templates of antiquity, as well as the adoration of gold appeared organically in her stylistic vocabulary. In her home, Chanel collected Chinese Comandando lacquer screens. She owned about 30 of them, a rarity, which also provided her with inspiration of bivouac of luxury that she created in her houses and apartments without worrying about perfectly marrying styles and eras is an infinite source of creativity. The rock crystal balls, chandelier pendants, opulent mirrors, muted colors, bronze accent, and the marriage of East and West are some of the many influences that are found in Chanel's style. Avant-garde. Breaking down codes, tearing down gender boundaries to launch a classic future for fashion that of masculine and feminine, Chanel dared to do everything. She stole tweed from menswear and turned humble jersey knit into privileged material. She designed pajamas for the beach and dresses that erased the waist. She was not afraid of anything when she decided those colors are impossible. I'm just going to dress these women in black. Transgressive in her style, her fashion, and her personality with her short hair, she tanned in the sun and drew inspiration from the jackets worn by lads on the racetracks to create this quilted effect on her iconic handbags. With enthusiasm, she hurtled down the ski slopes, fished, golfed, and galloped for hours, making the headlines never caused her to panic, nor did creating shockwaves with her lovers, or her independent attitude, free spirit, and even less with her commitment to working hard and fighting to be the only one to decide her destiny, to be the only one to run her business in the articles we nominate for the Hall of Fame in June 1931. Vanity Fair summarized her as such. Gabrielle Chanel was the first to apply the principles of modernism to dressmaking because she numbers among her friends the most famous men of France because she combines a shrewd business sense with enormous personal prodigality and a genuine enthusiasm for arts. Luck. When creating N Degree 5, her first perfume, Chanel had to choose between various work samples, and she decided on the fifth sample that was presented to her. To the question, "What should I name it?" she answered, "I'm presenting my collection of 5 dresses on May 5th, the 5th month of the year. We will therefore give it the number that it's wearing, and the number 5 will bring it luck." Luck was the theme of a note that Jean Cocteau wrote to her one day. It was again luck and good fortune that she willed by cherishing the symbolism of the ear of wheat, cast in bronze on a coffee table base by goldsmith Robert Goussens in her Rue Cambon apartment, or painted for her by Salvador Dali. Superstitious Gabrielle, even though she alone shaped her destiny, the designer was in any case attentive to signs and symbols throughout her entire life. Therefore, her birthday, August 19th, became another legendary fragrance, N19. And the lion, in the honor of her astrological sign Leo, was found with many objects that never left her. It took about residence with royal presence in her apartment at 31 Rue Cambon. As for the symbol of the star, which was paved in the floor tiles of Abusin, it followed her throughout her life and was transformed into flamboyant diamond star in her jewelry collection, Boujacs de Diamants, presented in 1932. Coco Chanel died of a heart attack on January 10, 1971, in the Hotel Ritz in Paris. She was 87 years old. As always, my good being, be loving, caring to each other. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave comments. Have a wonderful day.